Hiya folks, Root Beer here, and we're looking at question number 13. We're right in the middle of our 2009 grade 7 Gauss paper. The product 60 times 60 times 24 times 7 equals. Now I like this question because look at our possible answers. The number of minutes in 7 weeks, the number of hours in 60 days, the number of seconds in 7 hours, the number of seconds in 1 week, and the number of minutes in 24 weeks. This isn't your ordinary math question. It's asking us to take everyday numbers and make an appropriate connection. So I'm seeing 60s in here. Well, I know there's 60 seconds in a minute, and there's 60 minutes in an hour. And other connections that we might make, and then I know there's 7 days in a week. Now, does that mean that the 7 that we have here represents days in a week? Not at all. It could be something like 7 hours, and they do have seconds in 7 hours as a possibility. So, one way we can do this question, and I think this is the fast way, is to try and make these connections. Okay, 60 seconds, or 60 and then another 60. One of them is probably seconds in a minute, the other is minutes in an hour. And then go from there and say, okay, 24, what's 24? And does it relate to seconds, minutes, or hours? Well, there's 24 hours in a day. So 60 times 24, now I'm starting to get seconds in a day. And then, yeah, there's 7 days in a week. And so I know the answer is going to be D, number of seconds in 1 week. But this isn't immediately obvious. And another way we can approach the question is actually calculate the numbers that correspond to A, B, C, D, and E. Work backwards. How many minutes are actually in 7 weeks? Can we calculate that? And absolutely we can. So I think that's one way to go about it, doing it. By all means, the fastest way to make to do this question is to make the connections and be able to understand these numbers very, very quickly, and that D is going to end up being your answer. But if you're stuck on it, or if you're having trouble making this connection, well, that's okay. Let's write these guys out. So A is seconds? No, minutes in 7 weeks. Okay. Well, how do I go from, so it might be a good idea just to remind ourselves, from seconds we build up to minutes, to hours, to days, to weeks. And it's important to be able to make these connections that, how many seconds in a minute? Well, there's 60. How many minutes in an hour? 60. 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. And already I'm seeing the numbers that I want. So 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay. So, and then 24 hours in a day gives me 60 times 24 minutes in 1 day. Okay, well, how many days in a week? We get 60 times 24 times 7 will give me the number of minutes in 1 week. And what do we want for this question? 7 weeks. So this is the number of minutes in 7 weeks. Okay. They don't usually go beyond weeks because there isn't a standard number of weeks per month. We don't have that sort of a calendar. We barely have sort of a standard number of weeks in a year. Usually you can say 52 weeks in a year. Okay, but that's A. Let's go through the others a little faster. Okay, B, number of hours in 60 days. Well, I know that there's 24 hours in a day. And so we want, 60 days? 60 days. So 24 times 60 is the hours in 60 days. We'll leave C, we'll leave D, we'll leave some space for E. Number of seconds in 7 hours. 60 seconds in a minute. 60 times 60 is seconds in an hour. 60 times 60 times 7 is the number of seconds in 7 hours. Now D is the correct one. Seconds in a week, 60 seconds in a minute, then 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. 7 days in a week. D is the correct answer. But let's just show that E is also not the correct answer. Number of minutes in 24 weeks. Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and what was it? 24 weeks. So number of days in a week, 7, and then times 24 weeks. So we get these numbers here, and only D is the correct one. Only D matches with what we're talking about, so D is indeed going to be our answer. And that finishes up a very interesting question number 13. Excuse me, and we'll be moving on to question 14 quite naturally in the next video.